asking you about what's happened in Israel. The attacks by Hamas are unprecedented, and the reports and images that have come out of Israel following these attacks are very disturbing. Israelis have been butchered, maimed, tortured, burnt alive. Women have been raped and paraded. Babies have been beheaded. At least 40 babies and children have been brutally killed. Bodies have been mutilated. This is savagery, sir. Will you condemn Hamas for it?
Let me say from the beginning that what has happened is a reaction, it's not an action. The Israelis, since they have formed this government, at the beginning of this year, they have killed in West Bank 285 people by the Israeli soldiers and their armed settlers. And what you have mentioned has happened to the Israelis. It's always happened to the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people are killed by the Israeli occupied forces without any reason. They just shoot. Yesterday they shoot about 6. 2 of them in East Jerusalem are children for nothing. Easy to kill the Palestinian people and no one is responsible for that. When the settler killed one of the Palestinian, the Israelis work as one system from the high court till the settler. If they catch the settler, I mean if any of the Palestinian people make an operation against the Israeli soldiers, within a few hours they catch him, kill him or jail him. Now when it comes to the settler, rarely find one, and if they catch him, they take him to the court. The court, his sentence in the court is, you are not allowed to go to West Bank for 2 weeks, while the sentence of the Palestinian lifetime. This is the regime, the apartheid regime of the Israelis. In Palestine, we are facing one of the ugliest occupations in the world. The killing of both sides are condemned for us, if they are Palestinian or Israelis. This is the main point, which we did not get that from the Israelis themselves. They kill the Palestinian and they did not condemn the killing of the civilian of the Palestinian.
Do you condemn this, sir?
I condemn the killing of the civilian people, if they are Palestinian and Israelis, yes. While the Israelis has never, they killed the civilian Palestinian and has never condemned the killing of the Palestinian civilian
but
people.
You do.
Yes, we do.
In this case?
In both sides. Any case. A human for us is very important, right? Especially when they are civilian. In both sides, we condemn that. And we have always, since Yasser Arafat, we condemn that.
So let me quote the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to you. He has said that this kind of savagery has not been seen since the Holocaust. He's compared Hamas to ISIS. He says Hamas terrorists bound, burnt and executed children. They are savages. Hamas is ISIS. So I will ask you, sir, there is no doubt that the Palestinian people have suffered for a very long time, but just for a moment, if we specifically focus on what's happened in the last few days in Israel, would you not agree, sir, that it is savagery? Do you think there can be any justification for it, given what's happened to the women and children and elderly people?
I hope Mr. Netanyahu himself and all the criminals war of the Israeli leaders remember the massacres to the Palestinian people from Kufr Qasim to As-Sammu, to Qibya, to Sabra and Shatila, and to all these massacres to the Palestinian people. In 2008, if you go in the war of 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, they are killing thousands of people, right? Can he mention that? Why the Palestinians should have like a Holocaust from 75 years up to now, no one mentioned that, because maybe the Palestinian blood is dirty water, while the Israelis' blood is a blue color. This is the problem with this injustice international community, and the Israelis and their media they have very strong media, and they can cover, and this injustice Western country are always covering their massacres and against the Palestinian people.
The Western world has always unjustly covered up, you're saying, Israeli crimes against Palestinians. But I will ask you, sir, given what's been done to a very large number of Israeli civilians by Hamas, do you approve of the ways of Hamas?
Again, the occupation is responsible. If there is no occupation, there is no Hamas, there is no war, there is nothing. As a Palestinian, we went for peace 30 years ago, and we have signed Oslo Agreement and accepted 22% of our right, historical Palestine, right? They established Israel on 78% of Palestine, and we accepted 22%. We are the owner of the land. They have come from Russia, from Poland, from Bulgaria, from the United States, from Ethiopia, and we became refugees in the Arab countries or in West Bank or even in the land of Israel itself, right? So no one talk about the Palestinian crisis. If you have to blame the occupation, in the occupation there is nothing of anything you have mentioned.
But I want to ask you this. You're talking about the occupation. But my question is, sir, are you not worried that what Hamas has done in Israel is going to damage the cause of the Palestinians? Isn't it almost destroying the Palestinian cause, sir? How is it helping you? Because today, the sympathy of the world seems to be with Israel, because it is true, sir, that a very large number of civilians in Israel have been butchered. I'm asking you, is this not hurting the Palestinian cause? How is this helping the Palestinians?
Again, what hurt us is the occupation. Now, Hamas will be ended as soon as possible when there is a real peace process. Start real peace process. Give the Palestinian hope. Give them their rights. But to live as a refugee, to live under pressure, under occupation for 75 years up to now, what you are expecting? Hamas and the Palestinians in Gaza are living in an open prison. 2.2 of the people are living in open prison. The poverty in Gaza is 70%. They can't move. They can go and have medical treatment outside. They can go and to the universities. The movement is not easy. The Palestinian people from Gaza who are in India, they don't go to see their home, their family, because they are afraid they can't go out of Gaza and follow their study in India. This is the situation of the Palestinian people. Give us hope for Hamas, and at the end, Hamas can be political party only if there is a real process, peace process, and establish the Palestinian state.
Okay, I don't know how many will find it credible that Hamas can be a political outfit given what they've done, but I want to now move on to some of the reactions that have come in. Are you not concerned, sir, that even the Arab world seems divided on the Israel-Palestine issue since these attacks? I will quote the United Arab Emirates. They have described the attacks as a serious and grave escalation. The Foreign Ministry of the UAE has said it is appalled by reports that Israeli civilians were taken as hostages from their own homes. So what many are saying is that there can be no justification for the kind of barbarity that we've seen by Hamas. These are some of the reactions from the Arab world itself. What would you say to that?
I would say that the Israelis with this normalization agreement have done, they think that could solve the problem. They want to go around the Palestinian cause. The real problem is the Palestinian people. There is 6 million people living in West Bank and Gaza. You should find them, give them their right.
But
now,
your thoughts on what the UAE has said,
whatever,
sir?
even if they normalize their relation with the whole world.
But you're not concerned, sir?
No, we weren't concerned because we are in the land. We are in the land of Palestine. We are on the land. We are the owner of the land. We are the who are living 75 years in a crisis. We are in very bad situation. Right? Give us we are the only people who are still living under occupation. There is no other people in the world. We are only the people who are living in the occupation. And give them hope. And don't look to others in the Arab world or wherever.
Okay, you are saying that's not really much of a concern for you, but let me ask you this, sir. The Israelis and the Americans and many others are saying that Iran is the country that actually orchestrated these attacks on Israel. So the question that arises is Iran using the Palestinian cause to further its own agenda against the West and Israel? How is that helping the Palestinian cause? Are they using you, sir?
Let me correct you. Who said is Netanyahu? Netanyahu.
The Americans have said it, and many countries have said that it is Iran which is responsible.
I'll tell you. No. They did, in this conflict, they did not say. In this matter, they did not say.
In this context, sir.
Blinken himself, he said, and another official, not only Blinken, but who start with that is Mr. Blinken, the foreign minister of the United States. He said, we did not find hand of Iran in this conflict. But Netanyahu everywhere carrying, he wants Iran to be destroyed like Iraq. Right now, it was Iraq before, now Iran. Here, carry the flag of Iran everywhere. Iran. This is Netanyahu, right? The American, you said the American no. They said by the foreign minister, we did not find hand of Iran in this conflict.
Even though they do not really rule out Iran's involvement, but okay, you are saying Netanyahu wants to destroy Hamas, he wants to destroy the Palestinians, he also wants to destroy Iran. That is your argument. But I will ask you one more time, sir, before I move on, what do you think will be the impact of Hamas attacks on Israel on the Palestinian cause? Because there are many, even those who are sympathetic, sir, to the Palestinian cause, who believe that this will hurt your cause.
Look, what I have heard of Hamas themselves, as long as we heard from others, that everything it was Palestinian and by themselves. But in general, this war, the war should be condemned anywhere, right? And it won't be ended if the international community did not make a real pressure at the Israelis, because we are facing the most extreme government during the history of Israel. Netanyahu, Ben Gvir, Smotrich, right? They are the most extreme people. They are leader of those extreme settlers. If there is no real pressure from the American, from the international community at the Israelis, there is no Palestinian right.
But sir, the opposite is happening right now. You're talking about there being no international pressure on Israel. The reality is that the United States, UK, France, Italy, Germany, Sweden, these are countries that have not only come out in strong support of Israel and condemned these attacks, many of these countries have ended aid to Palestine. They have suspended aid to Palestine, and the US is sending, sir, naval warships and military aircraft to Israel.
Because there is no justice. Because many massacres to the Palestinian people, they have never condemned as they are condemning that. I told you, at least we condemn the killing of the civilian, while the Israelis, even they don't say that. Right? We are still living under occupation, end occupation, and you won't see war again. Stop the killing of the Palestinian people in West Bank and in Gaza, and give them their right, you won't see. Otherwise, this war and another war, or third war, maybe for 10 years, if the Palestinians did not get their right, we will see this 1, 2, maybe 10 times the same what has happened.
But sir, you are saying the war needs to end and there should be pressure from the international community. Like I just mentioned, the United States is sending naval warships and military aircraft and other ammunition to actually help Israel in this war. And it looks like it's escalating by the hour. Right now, there are relentless airstrikes being carried out by Israel against Gaza. There are reports that next there will be a ground invasion. It is a very distinct possibility, sir. How do you see that?
Hope we get the ceasefire as soon as possible, and stop killing of both sides, right? Stop the rockets and stop the air strike, and hope we get justice from the United States and the other countries, and start a real peace process instead of bringing aircraft carrier to the area and send the most modern American weapon to the area, right? Instead of that, they can make a pressure and they should find a solution. Otherwise, again and again, I warn that war will be continue.
So how concerned are you that if there is a ground invasion, things could get so much worse? It could have a very devastating impact on the Palestinians. Do you fear there could be a ground invasion? Because many people are expecting it.
We have heard before many times in the war, I have mentioned before that they will make ground, but they did not. I don't know about it.
Could things be different this time?
It could happen. It could happen.
And will that not be devastating for the people of Palestine?
It will affect, we are talking about 2.2 million living in an area is 365 kilometers square. There is no space to make agriculture to feed those people. So it will affect for sure. It will affect now without...
Even the airstrikes are having a very devastating impact. And I want to talk about what's happening in Gaza right now. While on the one hand, more than 1,200 Israelis are confirmed killed in these attacks by Hamas, over 900 Palestinian civilians in Gaza, including a large number of women and children, have also died in Israeli counterstrikes. Hospitals are overwhelmed. They're running out of fuel. Israel has imposed a total siege. They have cut off even water supply to Gaza. And what they say is that the suffering of the 2.2 million Palestinians living in Gaza is the responsibility of Hamas because they started the war, we did not. How would you respond to that? Because, sir, the entire world, I can tell you, including here in India, we are worried about those 2.2 million Palestinian people who are in Gaza right now.
Suppose Hamas is responsible for that. But what the Israelis is doing also, what we have heard of the Minister of Defense to cut water, fuel, food, and electricity of 2.2 million people, it's war crime, right? They do the same, what Hamas, and to describe 2.2 people as human animals, right, is a fascist call. It's not one of what they call themselves democratic state. So,
though I think the reference was to Hamas.
Sorry?
Though I believe the reference was specifically to Hamas.
When he said, I will cut electricity, it's not Hamas. So it is one sentence together.
When he said human animals.
Yes, it's one sentence. So it goes to the people in Gaza, not only Hamas.
Can I ask you, sir, how grave is the humanitarian crisis in Gaza right now?
It is very bad. It was grave before. When I say there is 70% of poverty of the people there. You know, people sometimes waiting for a help of 100 shekel, which means $25 a month, right? So the situation, it was very bad before. It became much worse now, for sure. Much, much worse.
I want to ask you this question. So I know you said earlier that if there is a peace process, Hamas can perhaps become a political party. Many will question that. But how do the Palestinian people, sir, view Hamas? Isn't it true, sir, that there are serious differences between the Palestinian Authority, which you represent, and Hamas?
Look, Hamas, they have their audience like any other political party. I don't say that Hamas, there is no follower to Hamas between the Palestinian people, even in West Bank, even in the Arab countries, right? But again, let's say that if there is a real, Hamas, by the way, recognize the state of Palestine in the land of 1967 with East Jerusalem. But give them hope. Give the Palestinian people, if they are Hamas, Jihad, Fatah, Palestinian Authority, give the Palestinian hope that you will get your right, at least with this small area, which is 6,200 kilometers square.
I take that point, sir, but I'm referring specifically to the differences that exist between the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. Are you saying that they're completely united? They see eye to eye?
If the Israelis allow us to make the election as we have done before in all the Palestinian area, including East Jerusalem, there will be election and you will see who will control the Palestinian land. The Israelis are refusing to make election in East Jerusalem.
Who is likely to emerge the winner, sir? Hamas or the Palestinian Authority, according to you?
This is election. Hamas win, let them lead the Palestinian people. Fatah win, let Fatah, anyone who win like any other country. We are coming to democracy.
Let me ask you this, sir. India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, spoke to the Israeli Prime Minister and said India stands firmly with Israel in this difficult hour and it strongly condemns the Hamas attacks and terror in all its manifestations. What is your response to that, sir? India's stand?
Yani, I hope India look to the situation there, to those people from the same point of a view and in both eyes.
So India has always in the past maintained that it is committed to the Palestinian cause, but on this occasion the Indian government has made it very clear that India is with Israel and terrorism has to be condemned.
Yeah, and I hope as a friend of both sides, India could play good role to bring both sides together in negotiation to give the Palestinian a right and to establish the state of Palestine.
Can you elaborate on that, sir? What role do you think India can have in the Israel-Palestine conflict in the current scenario, current context?
India is a friend of both, and the Palestinian people, if they are Hamas or Palestinian Authority, they respect India. The Palestinian people respect India and the Indian people, right? So if they play that role, I'm sure they can manage to do something. They can collaborate with some other country, the European, the American, Arab countries, and do something to end this crisis.
What would you say to Prime Minister Modi?
I say, please do something.
And you believe he can play peace?
I believe he can, yes.
Traditionally, India has maintained that it's committed to the Palestinian cause. Today, the stand of the Indian government is very clear. We are with Israel. We condemn what has happened, what Hamas has done. So, in a sense, do you think that the stand has changed somewhat? The way Israel-Palestine used to be referred to earlier is not being referred to in the same manner anymore by countries?
Yani, hope not. Hope This is certain tweet from the Prime Minister, right?
He also said this to the Israeli Prime Minister.
Yes, even it's not an official statement, still not official statement, and I hope India won't change their attitudes toward the Palestinian people and to follow the international law and keep their support to the Palestinian people also to get their right.
Okay, you think this is not India's official statement, though the Prime Minister has said it on Twitter and has told his Israeli counterpart. Final question, sir. Things are only escalating by the day or by the hour. How do you see this war ending? Because Israel says we will not stop till we have destroyed Hamas. Do you believe they also want to regain control over Gaza? How do you see this impacting Palestinians in the days and weeks ahead?
This is the Israelis, I could say, that this is not the first time making that death toll to the Palestinian people. I'm not expecting, like you said, that we are working as Palestinian Authority, President Mahmoud Abbas and our Prime Minister make lots of calls with many leaders in the world, working very hard with Egypt, with Qatar, with Turkey, with other countries and European countries also for ceasefire and ended this crisis. Hope they will manage to find it as soon as possible. This killing should be finished and we should go again to the peace process.
All right. On that note, Ambassador, thank you very much for speaking to us. And I can tell you that our thoughts and prayers are with all the victims right now, whether they are in Israel or in Gaza. Thank you very much.
I have the same attitude, what you have said, that I condemn the killing of the civilian people in both sides. Hope the other side will condemn the killing of the Palestinian people.
Point well taken. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
China won't let us rest easy on our borders, but they will keep flooding our markets. What does Xi Jinping really want?
I think he wants the Indian market, no doubt about it.
It's really a matter of showing their dominance.
India's great Chinese